Good evening, everybody. It is December 27th, 2021, Monday here in Midtown Manhattan. We are at the one and only Stephen Schwarzman building, the New York Public Library. And we're going to be walking to Central Park tonight. And the Santa Claus rally is in full effect on Wall Street as the S&P 500 breaches brand new all-time record highs. So we'll talk about that tonight on the stream, as well as three key industry trends that I'm watching for 2022. I see the one and only Sunshine After Rain, the AVGO girl is here. Joey is here, says happy Monday. The one and only Vinny Castellano, Sally, Otto says greetings, Tom. And Dante Rose. What's up, everybody? Hope you all had a great weekend. Back to business. It is Monday here in New York City. Hope everybody had a good start to the week. And I see Sanjeev. What's up, Sanjeev? Good evening. Good to see you. Hope you're well. We're going to be walking northbound on 5th Avenue tonight all the way up until Central Park. And we will walk over across Central Park South to Columbus Circle. And we are going to stop by the one and only Deutsche Bank Towers, previously the Time Warner Centers. But we'll do that tonight. Hey, Sally is here. This is a beautiful night. Good to see you, Sally. Ed Podkay, the one and only, says hi, Tom. How are you, Ed? Good to see you. Wonder Bread says, hey, man. What's going on? Everybody, we see the Aviators says, hi, Tom. Sorry I wasn't on the streams lately. I didn't have so much time. I'm packing to move to Seattle. Wow. Very cool. Well, good luck with your move. Seattle's a great city, big tech city. So I'm sure whatever brings you to Seattle is going to bring you a lot of success. Chris Hansley says, good to see you, Tom. Good to see you too. Chris, Andrew Lee is here, says, what's up from Queens? Sally says, you too, Tom. Hey, Joyce Carter says, today is Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. What's up, Joyce? Good to see you. We are standing outside the Stephen Schwarzman building right here on 42nd Street in Midtown. Alan Pickett's here, says, go Hawks. What's going on, Alan? Good to see you. Alan says, hey, Tom. Hey, Alan. So the S&P 500, new all-time record highs today. The Santa Claus rally is officially in effect. We were speculating over the past couple of weeks on the stream if we were going to see a Santa Claus rally this year. And I've held firm that I think we will see one, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ all followed the S&P to new all-time record highs by the end of the year. I guess we'll have to see. The one and only Ed Podkay says, hope you had a good Christmas. Indeed, I did. Hope you had a good one too, Ed. I believe Ed is joining us from Corning, New York, in upstate New York. The AVX girl is joining us from the Bronx. Alan Wilson says, good evening, everybody. So I spent a lot of time in here today. So I spent a lot of time in the New York Public Library using the Bloomberg terminals. So if you go to the 5th floor right there on East 40th Street and 5th Avenue, you'll be able to use the Bloomberg terminals in the International Business Center absolutely for free. Hey, Dwayne says, greetings from Alberta, Canada. It's currently negative 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Jeez, that's dangerous. I wouldn't even go outside in that. That's insane. But good to see everybody from Canada. Welcome to our neighbors from the north. Michael Johnson says, hello from Arizona. Good to see you. Erin says, aloha from California. My nephew says it's been warm in New York City. Peace and prosperity to all. It has been a little bit warm in New York. It has. Joyce Carter says it's the 8th day of Christmas. Good to see you, Michael. Good to see you, Erin. Roy is here. What's up, Roy? Says, good evening, Tom, moderators and friends. Tatiana is here. Says, hi, Tom. So we are on the corner of West 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. And the brand new One Vanderbilt building is bright blue tonight. Do you guys see the smoke coming off the top of One Vanderbilt? It looks pretty cool. Hey, Rosie's here. Says, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, y tú? What's up, Rosie? Good to see you. Hope you're well, Rosie. We're going to be walking up to Central Park and across to 59th Street and 8th Avenue. Mirage. This is good evening, Tom. Good evening, Mirage. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Maybe we'll take a right and we'll do a quick walk over to the Grand Central Terminal at Grand Central Station. And it appears the rain is holding up a little bit, which is good. Joyce says, let's go to 1 Vanderbilt. Indeed, we will. So I wanted to talk about 3 different industry trends that I'm seeing for 2022. And I think we'll go into a little bit of each one in detail tonight on the stream. But if you want to read the full story, I just sent out the Behind the Street newsletter to everybody. So if you check your email, you should have the Behind the Street newsletter in your inbox. But if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, it will drop a link where you could sign up to receive the Behind the Street newsletter for free. Ed Podcase says, unknown fact, Corning Museum of Glass stock went to $1 a share back in 2002. Very interesting, Ed. So you could see just the top of the Chrysler building right here, as well as the top of the 1 Vanderbilt building. I see Melee here. What's going on, Melee? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Alan Pickett says, I like the bullish call. A lot of earnings have slowed down during the pandemic, and we should see a pickup in the laggards, and the winners should take care of themselves. Yeah, so Alan, I think you're right. We saw a slight bit of earnings deceleration due to the pandemic, but we pretty much just saw a V-shaped recovery in earnings, especially in big tech companies or big tech stocks. But I definitely agree. But Alan, one of my industry themes that I'm going to be watching for 2022 is, I believe, the super cycle in semiconductors or chipsets is going to continue. So I was reading an interesting statistic that in just one electric vehicle, just one, in one EV, there's over 2,000 chips that go into one electric vehicle. And Joe Biden actually came out a few weeks ago and said that his goal for the United States is to have half of all vehicles produced in the United States be electric vehicles by 2030. So if you just think about the massive amount of volume that is going to generate just for the demand of semiconductors, that alone is going to juice demand, because there's 2 times the amount of chipsets in electric vehicles as there are in regular non-EVs. So I thought that was a pretty interesting statistic. Day's work. Good to see you. Hope you're well. We're standing right across the street from the 1 Vanderbilt. Flex Stream says, I don't care what Sleepy Joe wants. He's going to be gone very soon, says Flex Stream. So that's interesting you say that, because we are actually, 2022 is midterm elections. So I guess we'll see what plays out. Soho guy is here. What's going on, Soho? Good to see you. How are you? Bidzita Lopez says, good evening. What's up, Bidzita? And Chris says, what do you think the best ways for U.S. government could help incentivize for people to spend and invest their personal wealth and income? I would say to expand the limits on 401k and IRA investing, I would say. That's what I would say. Maybe more tax incentives, perhaps. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Chris? Hey, Ibrahim Azam is here. What's going on, Ibrahim? Michael Johnson says the promise of increased EV production is keeping copper prices at all-time highs. And that keeps me very busy. Copper mines are full steam ahead. Well, Michael, I guess that's good news for you. And you make a good point. So a lot of rare earths go into making the batteries for the electric vehicles and things like that. So I think we're going to continue to see this big commodities boom that we've seen. So I believe lumber prices about 2 months ago collapsed about 50%. They've since recovered 100% of that correction. Hey, CB Earth Day says good evening, Tom. Good to see you, CB Earth Day. Jason says hello from a cold and rainy LA, Los Angeles. Jason, how are you? Hey, Cheryl's here. Says, hey, Tom, sweetheart. What's going on, Cheryl? Good to see you. Hope you're well. And Robert is here. What's up, Rob? Steve Rowe says, good evening, Tom, from Texas. I trust you had a terrific Christmas. I did have a good Christmas. I hope you had a good Christmas as well. So this is a view of the new One Vanderbilt standing directly under it. Very cool. Ireva says, hello, Tom. It's 39 degrees here in California. It might snow soon. Nice. So it was snowing a little bit, a teeny bit, probably around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in New York. I was actually walking through Central Park to the Upper West Side of Manhattan, past the Dakota Apartments, and it was snowing a little bit, but then it turned to rain. Hey, the one and only Kurt here says government should require businesses over 100 people to default to 401k enrollment of 2%. You know, I don't think that's a half bad idea, Kurt. I don't think that's a half bad idea, but where I would give a little bit of pushback on that is the investment business in Wall Street, a lot of the times, and it's not so egregious now. It actually was a lot worse back in the day. But 401ks at the end of the day are products made by Wall Street. And Wall Street is all about getting fee income. So a lot of the times, these people have no idea what amount of fees they're paying in their 401ks. So I think so long as the fees come down, I think I'm all for it. I think that's a good idea, Kurt. So this is the brand new entrance of the One Vanderbilt building. Hey, Ken says, where do you place your phone when walking? We just hold it. We just hold it when walking. L the Original says, where are we? We are here right outside One Vanderbilt in Grand Central Station. Right here on East 42nd Street. Good to see you, El. Hope you had a great Christmas. Ibrahim Azam says, I am good. I'm on vacation. If all goes well, so I'm looking forward to it. Very cool. Robert's here to say, hey, all. Darren Robinson says, good evening, Tom. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and stay safe from Sydney, Australia. Right back at you. Hope you're well. So what do you guys think? Should we do one quick lap through Grand Central Station, or do you guys want to continue on our way up to Central Park? We haven't been to Central Park in a long time on the stream. So should we hit inside of Grand Central first and then go up, or do you just want to head up now? L the Original says, hey, I did just recently came back from New York City. Very cool. Very cool. Here, I'll show you guys the one and only Chrysler building on the corner of East 42nd and Vanderbilt. Flexstream says, let's do 5 laps around Grand Central. We'll do one. We'll do one. We'll just do 1 lap. Hey, Cosmo Scary is here. What's up, Cosmo? Good to see you. Hope you're well. All right, we'll do 1 lap around Grand Central and then we'll head back. Atomic Skittles 678 is here. So everybody, before I started streaming, I just sent out everybody the 9th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter. So you should have that in your inbox as of right now. And in this week's edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, we are going to be talking about 3 industry trends that I am seeing or forecasting for 2022. And that has to do with the continuation of the semiconductor or the chip boom. I believe that Americans are going to be forced to go back to work next year, which I think is an overall positive event in my eyes. So I got to put the mask on. I believe there's an indoor mask mandate in New York City now. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. All right, so here we are inside Grand Central Station. Cosmos is back to the office. No, I think people are going to go back to work. So we got some interesting economic data that came out over the weekend. That's pretty compelling. Hey, Jason, what's going on, Jason? Good to see you. The Mighty Bull says, greetings, Tom. Are you going inside to get up close and center the Mighty Bull? Indeed, we are the Mighty Bull. We got to come into Grand Central Station for the Mighty Bull every time.
Okay.
That's definitely a must.
I'm going out from your picture.
A lot of tourists back in the city, which is always a good thing.
Ticketing app, MTA eTix, is available now and allows you to purchase Metro North tickets directly from your
Hey,
smartphone.
Terry's here. What's up, Terry? Good to see you.
Free app today.
We're inside the Grand Central Station. And we have to take a look at the ceiling for the one and only Mighty Bull. Alexandria says, good evening, Tom. Good evening, Alexandria. And I see Out and About here. Out and About is our moderator from Toronto, Canada. Good to see you. Terry, good to see you. And George says, good evening, everybody. Nicole is here, says, hey, Tom, hope you are doing well today. I'm doing very, very well. So here is the ceiling in Grand Central Station. We're looking at the Mighty Bull. Hey, somebody says, watching from Brazil. Welcome, Thiago, watching from Brazil. Mark Davis says, good evening there, Tom. Hope all is well with you. Hello there from Toronto. So, Mark, I was actually up near the Dakota Apartments today. I was walking through Central Park to West 72nd Street at the Dakota Apartments. Yes, JK is here. This is the Campbell Bar. So if anybody wants to Google some photos of the Campbell Apartments or the Campbell Bar, please do it. It's absolutely beautiful here. Hey, Ken says, is Apple still in Grand Central Station? So Apple is still in Grand Central Station, but we have a little bit of breaking news. So just before I started streaming, I think Apple came out with an announcement. I saw it across the Bloomberg terminal before I started streaming that all of the Apple stores will be closed until further notice in New York City due to the uptick in the Omicron variant. So the Apple Store at 5th Avenue, the Apple Store at Grand Central Station will all be closed until further notice due to the virus. Hey, Vernon, good to see you. Mark Davis says, thank you, Tom. I saw that. The Dakota Apartments, very much appreciated. Thank you, Mark. Out and About, I did check the IG you sent me. Indeed, I did. Jason says, what are your plans for New Year's? So I should still be in New York City for New Year's. I may head back on January 4th. What about you, Jason? Any plans? Hey, Nez, the fun guy, is here. CB Earth Day says, I'm not surprised. We'll take one more look at the Mighty Bull, and then we'll do one lap around Grand Central, and we'll continue on our way up to Central Park South. Kimmy G says, oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I just saw it across the Bloomberg terminal today that all Apple locations will be closed due to the variant. Alan Pickett says, do you have any computer chip investment ideas? So I do. So Alan, I'm not sure if you received the newsletter, but I just sent out the Behind the Street newsletter to everybody. And the theme for the Behind the Street newsletter this week is 3 industry trends for 2022. And one of the main trends that I'm seeing going into 2022 is the continuation for semiconductor and chipset demands. Because if we think about semiconductors, pretty much everything that we use in our everyday lives that's an electronic device uses semiconductors. And especially as we're making our way to a complete electric vehicle takeover, the average electric vehicle uses 2,000 semiconductor chips just for one vehicle. So if you compare that to a non-electric vehicle, a non-EV uses about 900, but an electric vehicle uses about double that, or 2,000. Marilyn Ringles here says, I'm taking a break from cleaning. This is more interesting. Good to see you, Marilyn. I believe Marilyn is joining us from Murray Hill. Murray Hill in the one and only Manhattan. Good to see you. Alex says, go to the MetLife. Maybe we'll take a walk past it. Maybe we'll take a walk past the MetLife today.
Your attention, please. All luggage and parcels must be attended at all times.
There's a lot of people in Grand Central today. A lot of people.
By and subject to search by the MTA police. Thank you for your cooperation.
Alex Wise says, what do you think of the AMC situation? I think a lot of those meme stocks and a lot of that stuff is just noise. I really wouldn't pay too much attention to it. I think it's a very, very small, minute market action in the grand global macro scheme. But essentially, it was just a short squeeze. Alexandria says, this station is so majestic. We have Santa Monica Rodriguez joining the chat. What's up, Santa Monica Rodriguez? Good to see you. Marilyn Ringel says, yes, the beautiful Murray Hill. Cosmo Scary says, I listen to Tom while cleaning sometimes. Funny. Mr. Alves is here from Brazil. Good to see you. Ken says, Apple closes New York City stores to online pickups only, indeed. So all of the Apple stores are closed now, which is pretty crazy. Hey, British Gray is here from the one and only Tampa, Florida. Says, Tom, I did hear about the Apple store closing as well. So it should be pretty interesting to see how this plays out. So Apple came out with that news after the market closes. There's been some speculation that it may create some volatility tomorrow, but I really don't think it'll be that impactful, in my view. I think it'll be some sort of like a non-issue in my view. Enzo is here, says, hey Tom, how are you? Kevin is here, long time no see. Kevin, good to see you. Says, bro, it's been a while. Hope you enjoyed Christmas weekend. Happy New Year to you as well, brother. Stay safe. Hey, Kevin, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good Christmas, and I wish you a very happy New Year. Marilyn Ringel says, Apple closed at 180. Yeah, so we got brand new all-time record highs for the stock market today. The S&P 500 closed at new all-time record highs. So since it is the 27th, this is the official start of the Santa Claus rally on Wall Street that we've been talking about for quite some time. Hey, Juan Carlos is here. What's up, Juan Carlos? Says, hey, Tom, the futures are currently down and VIX is up. How do you see the markets closing into the year end? Thanks. All of the major indices are going to hit new all-time record highs before the end of the year. We only have about, 4 trading days left? 3.5, something like that. But we got a brand new all-time record high in the S&P today. I think the NASDAQ is going to follow suit. But Juan, if you want a more in-depth analysis, if you check your email, I just sent everybody the Behind the Street newsletter for the week. Ooh, and I think it's raining, everybody. Mark Davis says, Tom, how's your week shaping up? When are you headed down south? So I'm gonna stay in New York City all the way until January. And let me get out my umbrella. I did bring my umbrella today. It was actually snowing earlier today. Hey, Bill Coleman says, hello everybody. What's up, Bill Coleman? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Photos from around New York is here. Good to see you. Photos from around New York. I hope you had a great Christmas. Gerardo Cruz says, Tom, love your videos, brother. Keep up the great work. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Right back at you, Gerardo. I appreciate you being here. Mark Johnson says, Tom, what's your opinion on the AMC squeeze next month? So, I mean, I don't really follow the quote-unquote meme stocks too closely. I don't think it's a very good utilization of my time, but I will say that the whole AMC GME situation is a result of a short squeeze, which we've gone over many times on the channel. But I don't have any predictions or anything for months ahead in the future. I don't think those meme stocks are quote-unquote systematic investment ideas. Hey, Mark Davis is headed to Niagara Falls on Thursday, Tom, for my annual New Year's Eve celebration. Mark, that's awesome. So everybody, is there an update on that? So I believe New York City is going to continue to have their New Year's Eve celebration, but it's going to be tuned down to the tone of 15,000 people. So I think Mayor de Blasio is going to allow the New Year's celebration to continue, but it's just not going to be as many people as previous. And this is due to the spike in COVID cases for the Omicron variant. M. Sai says, howdy, happy holidays, good to see you. Hannah says, howdy, I am new here, just subscribed. HANAAAA, thank you for joining. Hope you're well, and thank you for being here. Chalkboard Talk says, hello there, Tom, and happy holidays. Good to see you. Chalkboard Talk. So we did bring the umbrella tonight, guys, thank God. So we are going to be walking up towards the one and only Central Park tonight. Hey, Nicholas Prasad says, pleasant good night, Tom. I've been watching your streams on my TV, so I wasn't in the chat. Well, Nicholas, I hope you had a great Christmas with you and your family, and I'm wishing you a very, very happy New Year. Ricardo says, will you broadcast on New Year's Eve? So we should. I'm considering that as tentative right now. I usually don't like to be out in New York City on New Year's Eve, but we just may be able to do it since there is going to be a lot less people in the city for New Year's. Sabrina Fair says 15,000 people. How will they manage keeping it so small? So Sabrina, I'm actually not that sure, but from what I've been hearing from people in the comments and things like that, is that there will be police officers and such checking like vaccination cards and things like that. So we'll see how it plays out. David, I know, Commie de Blasio. Yeah, British Grace says the New Year's celebration is still on. Indeed it is. But I just believe it is scaled back a little bit. Mercedes Diaz is nice to hear you are spending the holidays in New York. I'm having a very good time so far. Monica says, I'm in California, love New York City. Monica, good to see you. Good to see Chalkboard Talk as well. Photos from around New York, how you been? Hope you had a good holiday. And we got the one and only Mighty Bull in the house. Good to see you, Mighty Bull. So we're now going to make a right on East 42nd Street. We're going to head back towards Midtown near Bryant Park. Hey, Juan says, do you have a link for your current newsletter? Also your predictions on chipmaker AMD? Yes, so Juan, if you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link for the newsletter, and I just sent out the most recent Behind the Street newsletter to everybody, and I believe we have over 200 people now receiving the Behind the Street newsletter for free. But this week we focused on 3 key industry trends for 2022, one of which being semiconductors. So your question was, what is your outlook for AMD? AMD plays right into that space with chipsets and semiconductors. But the 2 companies that I highlighted in relation to semiconductor exposure in the newsletter was Broadcom and NVIDIA. So I'm very bullish on semiconductors going into 2022, just because the demand is going to be so high. Hey, Yanni is here. What's up, Yanni? Good to see you. Hassan Terrell is here. How are you, Hassan? Good to see you. Kimmy G says it's still happening. That should be interesting. Tons of people in Times Square. Says Kimmy G, good to see you. Kelber's here, says good night. I'm from Brazil. Welcome, Kelber. Good to see you again. Flex Stream says live stream from the Bronx. That's the real New York City. So I actually used to work in the Bronx for many years. Mercedes Diaz says your stream looks so clear and vivid. I love it. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying it. But everybody, I've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of emails to my email box about people wanting to read previous newsletters. So I do keep all of the newsletters up on the website. So if you just click the link, the Behind the Street link, it'll take you to the website, and you guys will be able to read all of the archived newsletters forever. I'm keeping them up forever, so you'll be able to see it. Hey, Dino's here. What's up, Dino? Good to see you. Hope you're well, Dino. It just started raining here in New York, but a little bit earlier in the day it was actually snowing too. A little bit interesting. I think we're gonna have on and off rain all tonight. So I think Photos from Around New York is in the chat. This building directly across from us, I believe, was one of the most famous cigar stores in New York City, or in the world for that matter. And I believe due to the pandemic, it closed down. Photos, do you know the exact name of that store? I forgot. But I remember I would walk by it almost every single day. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful store. And it's such a shame that it closed down.
You have change. Hablas español.
Yeah.
Tiene cambio?
If you touch me, I'm gonna drop you, bro.
Change?
Just don't touch me. I'm gonna drop you, bro. Mark Davis says, Tom, did you get my Christmas e-card? So Mark, I think I did get it. But I didn't want to click it because I didn't know if it was from you. I didn't know if it was like a phishing email or something like that. So I didn't want to click the link. But now that I know that it's you, I will click the link. Photos from Around New York, Nat Sherman. There we go. Ken Kramer says AMD will pass 200 soon. out and about, did someone approach you? Yeah, I just don't like when people grab me, like grab at my arms. Like, you could ask me things, but you don't got to, like when you touch, I just don't like people putting hands on me. Mark Davis is absolutely was from me, Tom. Okay, Mark, I'm gonna open it then. Because sometimes people will send me like spam emails that I don't know if it's exactly from specific people, so I just didn't know. Yeah, Elon Musk says, Tom, any reason why communism still exists in the 21st century? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that a lot of the countries that practice very isolationist policies tend to be lean on towards the side of communism. But I've said it before, I think that China would actually overtake the United States in terms of innovation and technology if they weren't communists. Easily, they would do it very, very easily. So now we are on West 44th Street, headed uptown on 5th Avenue. Hey, Lost in the Curve says used car prices are set to drop next year. What are your thoughts? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I would hope so. But what's really crazy is that some people are actually making money on their vehicles that are actually quite old. So vehicles that are 1 or 2 years old are actually selling in the secondary markets for higher than retail value when they bought it 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that's a really good question because it fits right into the topic for tonight about the demand for semiconductors. So I'm not sure if anybody was listening into Ford Motors' previous earnings call, but the Ford CEO actually said that they had to stop production of a lot of their vehicles because they couldn't get the chipsets to build them. So pretty interesting, but I think that prices will stay elevated so long as there's a global semiconductor shortage. So just as long as production stays below average, I think we'll see prices continue to go up. Hey, Roy S says, hi, Tom and all mods. Hope you are well. Good to see you, Roy S. Hope you had a good holiday. And this is the top of the Comcast building. Hey, Asia Unscripted is here. Says, what's up? What's going on, Asia Unscripted? Good to see you as always. Hey, Roz999 says, there have been an article on the Kentucky Speedway completely full of Fords just waiting for chips. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think I saw something similar to that with, I believe the company is called Polaris, and they manufacture a lot of the sports, like snowmobiles and type of those winterized vehicles. And they're actually just shipping a lot of their products without any of the electronics because they don't have the semiconductors, or they don't have the chips. So it's a big issue. It's really, really crazy. And I hold the view that a lot of these semiconductor stocks are going to continue to go higher next year because their earnings are going to expand. So we wrote about Broadcom, we covered Broadcom and NVIDIA. So I think those two will continue to outperform next year. Hey, Felipe is here, says hello. What's up, Felipe? Good to see you. Hope you're well. We're walking up 5th Avenue tonight. Hannes, is the Pink Tower Rockefeller Center. We are headed towards Rockefeller Center very shortly. Yeah, I think we got some water on the lens. Juan Carlos is sorry for all the questions, but do you believe that New York City will go into a modified lockdown? Thanks, bro, by the way. Yeah, so I don't think that New York City is going to go into a complete lockdown, in my view. But, you know, we're already starting to see, you know, some businesses start to close. So Juan Carlos, I believe Apple just came out and announced that they're closing all of their New York City locations only for pickup. So there's going to be no customers allowed to walk into the stores. But I don't think you'll see any sort of lockdowns that are going to be coming from the government. I just don't think that they could afford that right now. But that is my view. Maybe some reduced capacity, but I don't think any lockdowns. Hey, Genius 2X says, can we walk up to see the Christmas tree? Indeed, we will. British Grace says, Tom, did stocks go down? No, the S&P 500 made a new all-time record high today. Ron says, hello, Tom. Thanks for issue number 9. Great content. Appreciate it, Ron. Let me know what you think of it. So Ron is saying that he got the 9th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter. Hope you enjoy it. And Ron, if you want to fill out that Barron's survey, I posted a link to the Barron's 2022 investing survey. Hey, West Mass Dave says, we are headed into 3rd year of COVID. Crazy. It's wild. I can't believe that, but it's true. 3rd year of the big C. Hey, Rick says, past the Chrysler building, that used to be the cosmetics capital of the world. Very cool, Rick. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Mark Davis says, Tom, any big plans for your business in 2022? Do you ever make New Year's resolution? So I think my New Year's resolution for this year is just to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more consistent, but you know, I hope just to grow the business in 2022 and hope to have a lot more success. Yeah, Alan Pickett's big state sucks. Spencer, good to see you. Hope you're well. So we are coming up on the Saks 5th Avenue building where they have the famous Christmas light show. Alex, do you think that the Fed does not raise interest rates and continues to print money? I do. So Alec, it's funny that you mentioned that because that was one of the 3 industry themes for 2022. So the Federal Reserve has come out, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and said that due to inflation running wild, I believe we got a CPI print of about 6.8%. The Federal Reserve came out and said that they are going to taper asset purchases faster than expected and that they are going to raise interest rates at least 3 times next year. But I don't believe they will. I don't believe that they'll raise interest rates 3 times. I think there's only going to be 1 rate hike, and I think the rate hike will happen very conveniently after the midterm elections. Because we have to understand that it's a midterm election year, and Joe Biden's approval ratings are at all-time lows. And as one very famous person used to say, it's the economy, stupid. Rick says Fed already announced at least 2 increases in 2022. Yeah, the Fed actually said that they're probably going to do 3 increases, but I don't believe it's going to happen. There's a difference between what the Federal Reserve says and what they actually do. Hey, Checkers X is here. Good to see you, Checkers X. All right, let's see if we can cross the street, and I'll give you guys one look, or one last look before we head back up to Central Park. And it is raining. It was snowing a little bit earlier today in the city. Oop, I think it just concluded. Hey, Ken Kramer says, why doesn't Apple close their unethical manufacturing plants overseas? Nothing but woke hypocrites. You know, Ken Kramer, you got a point there. You do have a point. So Ken, does anybody know the statistic? I believe that there was the most suicides ever at the Foxconn manufacturing plants that manufactures the iPhone. Minnie Mouse, good to see you. I Reva says, are you carrying your bag also today? I am. I am carrying my bag. So here is the very famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Dino says, Tom, per your newsletter, do you predict a real return of people back to the workforce, or do you see any political, more government handouts? So Dino, what I think is that I think people are going to be forced to go back to work. So there was a very key piece of economic data that came out, and it's called the savings rate. So the savings rate in the United States has collapsed from 33% during the pandemic all the way down to 6.8%, I believe. So if we try to put the pieces together, if we have a savings rate that's about 6.8%, which is actually back to normal. You know, even though if it was a very, very drastic collapse from the really insane savings rates of the pandemic, now it's all back to normal. And if you have an inflation print that's running at 6.8% a quarter, I think it's actually more than that. I think you're going to see people forced to re-enter the workforce. So what I was trying to say in the Behind the Street newsletter is that if you're not back to work now, I would, you know, sort of try to front run that trade and try to get ahead of the curve, in my view. Because what I think is going to happen, and as everybody knows, over this past year, especially in a really bad labor shortage, which has led to increased worker wages, sign-on bonuses, and even retention bonuses for employees in the United States. And I think people are getting way too comfortable with that. And history always has a very funny way of flipping the script on everybody. So you don't down. So now I would probably get a jobs, but you better do to turn rather quickly. Alan Pickett's a shout out to Tom. What's going on? Went back mid. We were told to go virtual. Yeah, so Ken, distinction I'm trying to forced to go talking about. If we look at the labor to start to buffer. All right, what about now, everybody? Yeah, I think there's going to be too many people there, so we will just have to continue our walk uptown. But anyway, so what I was talking about is the labor force participation rate in the United States is the lowest it's been on record. So when I say people are going to go back to work, I'm not necessarily talking about virtual going back to the office. I think people are going to be forced to get off the sidelines going back into the workforce because inflation is just eating away too much of their savings, as we saw in this week's savings print. Hey, NNB045, good to see you, NNB045. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people trying to see the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree before the end of the holidays. So we will try to avoid that location so we don't buffer. Hey, War Walker is here. Good to see you, War Walker. War Walker is joining us from the one and only Miami, Florida. Flex Stream says rain is a good thing because it cleans all the pee from the city streets. Jeez. Hey, Carlos is here. What's going on, Carlos? Genius 2X is, won't you get demonetized from the music in the background? Probably. Probably. Hey, Super Z is here. What's going on, Super Z? Good to see you. Hey, Marjan Worldwide says, so your advice is that you should take is to get out there and get your money while you can before wages are competitive. Yeah, so Marjan, what I'm saying is that I think a lot of people right now, and we've been talking about this a lot on the stream, and many of you actually have reported back and told me that you went to your boss and asked for a raise and you actually got it. I think there's going to be a very short window in 2022 where the power, quote unquote power, will still be with the employees as opposed to the employers. I think in 2022, the tables are going to turn and some of that power is going to be returned back to the employers. So if you're looking for a raise, I would start sending out applications right now. And if you change your job and go to a competitor of your company right now, you're probably going to get a pretty handsome raise and maybe even a sign-on bonus. Hey, Melissa 2087 says 37 degrees in New York City. Bridget Ortiz says, hola, Tom, good to see you. Alan Pickett says, baby boomers are retiring. Checkers X says, a lot of unvaxxed were terminated. Irebus says, people need to Photos from around New York says, so no student loan repayments are set to restart interest on 5/1/2022. Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about canceling student debt altogether. I don't think that's going to happen, but I actually would be in support of it. If we cancel all the student debt, I'm in support of that, but the government has to immediately get out of the student loan business of subsidizing all these loans. Hey, Glenn is here from Northern Oklahoma. Good to see you, Glenn. Hope you're well. Yeah, photos from New York is like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Probably not. JD says you need to get off this subject. Maybe we will. Flexstream says I should not pay for anybody else's college education. I agree. That's why I think that the government should get out of the business of subsidizing all of these student loans, which we've talked about ad nauseum on the stream. Hey, my channel says I've lived in New York but never been to New York City. You gotta come. It's a great city. Ken Kramer says universities have been predatory against our youth. So I don't think it's the universities that are doing it. I think it's the government incentivizing colleges to raise prices. Because if there's no competition in the marketplace, then there's no price discovery. And the government has allowed everybody who wants to go to college, they've allowed them to get a loan. So if all these private institutions understand and that they know that anybody that wants to go to their college, they could just apply for a government loan and they'll get it, well, then they'll raise the price to whatever they want because they know the students will get the loan. Hey, Drew H is here, says bus is slow to the Claw in New York City. Good to see you, Drew. Hope you're well. Hey, Francisco GM says, hi, Tom. Good evening for everybody from Chile last night. Little niece, 11 years old. Just want to say hi. Very cool. Good to have you here as always. Hey, Morales 1370. How are you? Good to see you. John is here. What's going on, John? Yes, Ken Kramer, I think you're spot on. The way you worded it is very accurate.
The only thing that I'm worried about,
the private institutions or the private colleges have been taking advantage of government subsidy to increase prices and increase profits. Agreed. So now we are passing St. Thomas Church on 5th Avenue. Hey, Logan says, is it cold there or mild watching from Atlanta? It's not that bad. It's probably about 38 degrees out here in New York City. Reva says, do horses get sick out in the rain for hours? I kind of feel bad for them because I used to see them all the time when I used to live on 59th Street, right there near Central Park. You can't help but to feel bad for them, but I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about it. Hey, Morris says, where is this exactly in New York City? Greetings from Columbia. So we are here on 5th Avenue and East 53rd Street, and we just passed Rockefeller Center. Radio City Music Hall, all that stuff. A lot of horses out tonight. I know, my channel says I feel awful for the horses. I feel awful for them too. But I'm not sure like how they feel personally. I don't know. Hey, Dino says they wouldn't be in so much debt if they went to a 2-year junior college and then transferred to a 4-year school. Yeah, I think you make a good point, Dino, but I think what happens is a lot of these colleges are predatory or use predatory tactics in order to attract people to their institutions. But I agree with you. I think you're spot on. So we're about to pass the main Trump Tower here. I love walking past these steam pipes here. Roz999 says, I love to run in Central Park when I'm in New York City. The horses seem so depressed. Hey, Valentina's here. Says, hi, Tom. What's up, Valentina? Valentina says, hi Tom, have a good week and cover yourself from the rain. So we do, we finally brought an umbrella, which is good. NNB045 says, forget college, lots of online learning virtually, like free Google Analytics. Very interesting. Dino says, almost every employer offers some kind of tuition assistance or reimbursement. That is true. I actually got a lot of tuition reimbursement from my previous employer. Bitsmag TV says, hello, what's going on? Lewis says, this is not live. Interesting. Interesting, Lewis. Mar says, first time I visit your channel. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mar. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Hope you're well. Photos from around New York says, Tom, you should get a watch from the company across the street. Yeah, I don't think I could afford that. Who knows? Maybe one day. Maybe one day, photos. Mark Davis says, Tom, are you still bullish on the subject of medical marijuana for 2022 due to R&D purposes or research and development? So I am bullish on the medical cannabis sector, but what I will say is that I think the vast majority of publicly traded stocks on the market that have exposure to cannabis right now, the vast majority of them are not profitable. So a lot of them have no earnings, so I wouldn't personally buy them. I'll never buy a company that isn't earning money. So what I think is going to happen is you're going to see a lot of consolidation. So the more well-capitalized companies in the marijuana space, there's going to be a lot of M&A activity. I think there's going to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions in the cannabis space, and that should create sound companies. So I think that cycle is going to play out, but it's going to take a little bit longer than expected. So here we are across the street from the Trump Tower. The Mighty Bull is watching and listening. Good to see you, Mighty Bull. Road Dog 41 says, when you think some of the small caps will come back, some are down nearly 70%. Yeah, so that's a good question. We've been talking about that a lot on the channel. I think that we're going to see a big rotation away from mega cap stocks back in to some of the smaller, I like to call them high beta growth stocks. So what I think is happening is that portfolio managers on Wall Street were really front running the Federal Reserve, because if we think about what the Fed is saying to the market, they're saying that they are going to begin or continue, and not even to continue, but just accelerate the tapering of asset purchases. So as we know, the Federal Reserve is buying U.S. Treasuries as well as mortgage-backed securities, and they're keeping interest rates near zero. But the Federal Reserve has sort of changed their tune on that and said we're going to start to taper, and in 2022 we are going to raise interest rates 3 times. And once the Fed said that, we've entered an extreme bear market in mega cap growth stocks. And the reason for that is, and I wrote about this in the Behind the Street newsletter this week. If you want to sign up to read it, it's completely free. The market is a discounting mechanism. So that's what the market is intended to do. The market discounts cash flows and earnings into the future, right? So when interest rates go up, the present value of those future earnings actually decrease, right? And this is why a lot of analysts, so if you work at an investment bank on Wall Street, a lot of the time you'll spend your time building discounted cash flow models to try to calculate and discount cash flows into the future. Horatio Snipes is Billionaires Row. Indeed, we are here on Billionaires Row. And here's the 420, I'm blanking on the name, I think 430, right? Park Avenue. Horatio Snipes, good to see you. Loose 72 says high taxes on marijuana. Not good. What's up, Loose 72? Drew H says, why Cannabis isn't making money? Seems like it would be popular on the street. Well, we have to think, cannabis it's like a commodity, right? So it's the industry is going to be commoditized, and I think there was a lot of over-investment into the industry, and a lot of these companies are startups, and a lot of them are underbanked. Yes, 432 Park Avenue, copy. Matthew, good to see you. T says, shout out Bonzo Law. Horatio Snipes says, Tom, you never took us to the Trump building. I think we just passed it. We literally just passed it. Geez, snazzy. My credit is about to go back to 0. So if you look to your right, this is the flagship Apple store here in New York City. And Apple just announced after the closing bell that it will be closing all New York City Apple stores. And I believe it is only open for online pickups. So no tourists or no retail traffic will be allowed inside. Matthew says, what do you think of the slim towers of Billionaires Row? I think I like I'm not sure. I don't really like the designs too much. I think the only tower on Billionaires Row that I enjoy is 157, in which case Bill Ackman actually bought a big apartment there. Hey, Daniel G, it's good to see you. Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Tatiana's here, says hi, Tom. David M says, for being billionaire roll to entry to those places, a little standard, not like Miami. Good to see you, David M. Juan says, all public colleges have their tuition subsidized with tax dollars. As a computer science major, I never paid tuition. Why even get a liberal arts degree now? I agree. Hey, Marty Lewis is here. Says hi, everybody. What's up, Marty Lewis? Good to see you. And we got the one and only Action Kid in the house. Says, wow, I'm glad I got my AirPods serviced a week ago before Apple announced the closing. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Action Kid? So what do you think of that, Action Kid? So Apple came out after the bell. I saw it across the Bloomberg ticker tape today. And Apple is closing all of their stores in the United States. Well, not in the United States, but in New York. So you'll still be able to order things online, but no people will be allowed inside for retail. Hey, EBITDA is here. Says, hey, Tom, hope you had a nice start to the week. Looks like crypto might be in for a nice little run. Good to see you, EBITDA. Hope you had a good Christmas. EBITDA, right across the tape today in Bloomberg, Apple has closed all of their stores in Manhattan, only available for online pickup. Alan Pickett says, do you think there will be PE, price to earnings expansion in the S&P 500 with rising interest rates? Yeah, so I think, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because there was a very good interview or a very good podcast with Thomas Lee from Fundstrat. And Tom Lee is the founder and CEO of Fundstrat, which is a very notable equity research firm on Wall Street. And that's sort of the case he makes. He says that we are going to see a lot of these names in the S&P go through an extreme multiple expansion, in which case, essentially what that means is that you'll have PE ratios expand. So stocks that are normally used to trading in the mid, 30s or 50 PEs, they may trade at 80 to 100 PEs. So if anybody's familiar with the big GameStop and AMC debacle, in this tower right here, 220 Central Park South, right here, Ken Griffin is the CEO and founder of Citadel Securities, which is one of the largest market makers and quant shops on Wall Street. He bought the 3-floor penthouse right here, Ken Griffin, and I think he just bought the Constitution of the United States as well. EBITDA says, Tom, how does the terminal work in the library? Do you get a key card, fingerprint account, or is it a different interface? So no key card, all you gotta do is just sign up. You gotta save your spot online. And they send you like an access key. But I believe it's open to anybody. IK says, Apple said you other businesses should be taking notes. Yikes. Ed Dunkel's here, says taxes are too low. This is Ed, good to see you, Ed. Carolina Tom says, hi Tom. Gold and silver cross key levels and are ready to shine. Yeah, so something interesting about the cryptocurrency markets. So Bitcoin is still sitting below its 50-day moving average. However, Bitcoin is above and found support off of its 200-day moving average. And it just recently broke 50,000. So we'll see how that plays out. Roy S says, Tom, do you miss your old apartment here? I miss it a lot. EBITDA says, Wall Street Scapegoat, can you use the messenger and chat feature? You can, but it's extremely frowned upon, as you can imagine. Yeah, so the Bloomberg terminals in the New York Public Library does have the chat feature, but extremely frowned upon for obvious reasons. But EBITDA, maybe I'll send you an IM. Alan Pickett says, I like Tom Lee. Heat you and Action Kid of the Men. Appreciate it. Yeah, Tom Lee gets a lot of heat, but I really enjoy reading a lot of Tom Lee's equity research. I really enjoy it. Bottomless Coffee says, did someone say taxes are too low? I think Ed said that, somebody. But look, I respect everybody's opinion. So now we are walking right outside the Plaza Hotel, the very famous Plaza Hotel. And I love the chandeliers in here. And you can see all the beautiful crown molding in the plaza. Hey, Robert Parker's here. Says, so what happens to all those Apple employees? I'm not sure, but I'm assuming they'll probably get paid still. I'm assuming they'll still get paid. There are still Apple employees working, processing the online order pickups. Sally says Home Alone 2, yeah. Photos from around New York says, do you have to be a New York City resident? I think you have to be a New York State resident. I don't think it necessarily has to be New York City to use the Bloomberg terminals. Wow, so Snazzy says, I came back from New York City a few days ago and just tested positive for COVID. Well, I hope you're all right. So this is one of my favorite views in Manhattan. You see 432 Park Avenue, which is one of the most iconic towers right here in Manhattan's Billionaires Row. And if you also look to your right, you'll see the very famous Trump Tower. Hey, what's up, Chris Mills? Good to see you. Good to see you, Chris. Hope you're well. Hope you had a great holiday. We are back to our old stomping ground, Central Park South, 59th Street, and we are going to head towards the Deutsche Bank Towers, formerly known as the Time Warner Centers. Dino says, whoever said taxes are low, you don't have to wait for the government to raise taxes. You can voluntarily pay more. Bottomless Coffee says Central Park South always has a good feel to it. So we are right outside of the very famous Plaza Hotel. Alex says it's too bad younger people like myself were not pushed to go into trades. Well-paying jobs are in high demand. All over the United States as more retire from the sector. I agree. So HVAC, I have a lot of friends who work in labor unions, electricians, plumbers, very, very good paying jobs, union jobs for that matter. Marty Lewis, hey, Western Mass is Penguins, indeed. War Walker, yes, this is my ringtone. Robert Parker says, I was just in this area about an hour ago, picking up an Uber Eats order. Very cool. So we'll continue down and head to the Deutsche Bank Towers. Yeah, Moon, you're right. There's a painter shortage as well. You're right. Hey, Little Flower Girl is here. This is a very pretty place. Good to see you, Little Flower Girl. Valentina says, Tom, are you planning any holiday trips? No holiday trips. I'm just going to stay around New York City, hang out with the family, things like that. So I'll give you guys one more look at 432 Park Avenue, and then we will head back to the Deutsche Bank Towers. Ooh, looks like we got a big traffic jam here. So I believe there's major construction going on at the Plaza Hotel. I'm not sure how long the scaffolding is going to be up. Hey, Timothy's here. Says Happy New Year, upcoming beautiful views. Thanks for the video, Tom. No problem, Timothy. Always good to see you. Hope you're well, Tim. And this is the front of the very famous Plaza Hotel. Hey, Pineapple Waters here. Says, hi, Tom. Good union jobs are not available in Florida, though. However, that is why you have a business there for the low taxes, I believe. So I'm not in like a trade. I work in tech. So usually those companies are not unionized. But Southern Florida is actually, I think you're going to see a lot more business activity in Southern Florida, especially from big venture capital firms, large investment banks, and even some of the larger software companies. Hey, John L is here. Says the SPX and Fed balance sheet exactly the same. No change. Bond buying so far. Yeah, so John, I think you're spot on there. I think you make a good point. Let me just make sure that was John that said that. Yeah, John L. I think you make a good point. This is why we always say, so Paul Tudor Jones as well as Stanley Druckenmiller, they always say, watch what the Federal Reserve is actually doing, not what they're saying. Because they'll always say one thing, but then they'll turn right around and do another. Hey, Happy New Year from Taiwan. Thank you so much for the super chat. Our friend, Mr. Wang from Taiwan. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this year. Appreciate it. So this is the residences at the Plaza Hotel. Very expensive, very famous place. A lot of people don't know that there's actually multi-million-dollar condominiums here at the Plaza Hotel. Moon says would be a great time to start a vocational school for trades, Tom. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Me personally, I don't think I'll do it, just because I'm so busy with everything else. But I definitely do think it is a good idea, for sure. But thank you everybody from Taiwan. Mr. Wang, thank you so much for the support. Appreciate it very, very much. Hey, Hassan Terrell is here. What's up, Hassan? Hey, Coffee Food Travels says, what's up, Tom? Hope you're having a great night. We're having a very good night. We're walking here at Central Park South, 59th Street. Actually, right outside the Park Lane Hotel, which was actually just fully renovated. And these two buildings right here is the old-time Warner Centers, but now they are the Deutsche Bank Towers. IK says, I also just came back from New York and I tested positive for the Omicron variant after. Well, I hope you're well. I hope you get better very, very soon. 3-inch hippopotamus is high. Florida would have to be the best place to live and do business in the world. Perhaps. Good to see you. Nag says, hello, Tom. What's going on, Nag? Good to see you. Judy D. This is very nice of you. Johnny is here. Says, hello from Serbia. My name is Nicola. I want to wish you a happy holidays. Well, happy holidays to you, too. MD says, I will give $5,000. Appreciate it. Hey, Kaz says, Westchester County here. What's going on, everybody in Westchester? Beautiful Westchester County. So this is the Park Lane Hotel. They actually just renovated the entire thing. And then if we walk over one, you'll see my old building. Hassan Terrell says, Tom, did you have a nice Christmas? I did. I had a very good Christmas. Thank you, Hassan. Hope you had a good one as well. Yeah, photos from around New York says Sarah Beth's awesome brunch. I think it's a little bit pricey. Photos. I'd say it's a little bit pricey. My favorite place for breakfast in New York City is called Good Enough to Eat on the Upper West Side. Good Enough to Eat. If you're ever in New York City, you got to take a trip to the Upper West Side in the 80s and Amsterdam Avenue. Hey, CB Man is here. Says, I was in a union, JFK Airport, very powerful union. And at age 38, I was able to retire with a pension of $80,000 a year since 1996. I was very fortunate to receive a pension. Well, God bless you, man. You deserve it. You deserve every penny of that pension. God bless you, CB, man. Hey, Michael F says, good evening. What are your thoughts on purchasing CFDs in terms of risk reward? I mean, if for institutional investors, you can utilize that stuff, but for individuals, I don't really think it's worth doing any of that stuff. Mark Davis says, Tom, any hiring plans for your consultancy in 2022? I think I want to bring on one person. I think that'll be enough for the year, but the short answer is yes. Looking to bring on one person. Little Flower Girl says, Tom, do you know anybody in New York with the last name Thomas? I probably do. Probably do. Free Robinhood stock. Says thoughts on Flocky coin. So I don't really deal with any of the alternative coins. I think the vast majority of them are very fraudulent, what they call pump and dump schemes. So I don't really pay attention to any of that. Alex, I'm curious if you have started to think about retirement at this age. Absolutely. I think everybody, once they start working, they should open up some sort of Roth IRA or IRA in general and take advantage of the either tax deferral or tax-free growth. John Sorley says $80,000 retirement. I spent 32 years in the military and I get $19,000 a year. Well, that's still pretty good. I mean, a pension where, you know, you're just getting all of that every single year as sort of like an annuity, I guess, is pretty good. Hey, Wildside Ross says, rock on, man. It's -30 in Alberta, Canada. Please stay safe. Well, you stay safe. I mean, that's crazy. That is some serious cold temperatures. Christine says, is it snowing anywhere in New York? Well, it was snowing earlier today, probably at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but not now. It's actually raining a little bit. Johnny says, do you think New York is realistically portrayed in any TV shows or movies? Maybe a little bit. I'm gonna say it's portrayed a little bit real. So this is the very famous JW Marriott Essex House right here at Central Park South. Hey, Starving Artist says, Tom, will you hire somebody from Miami or somebody from New York? Well, I don't think it matters where they're located. I'm open to somebody working remote. So that's a good question. JK, hey, what's up, JK? Says, yep, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, and it is -30 degrees. That is brutal. I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah, Dino says, I don't think most workers don't have any pension at all, just a 401k. Yeah, up until, I would say, the late 90s, the vast majority of companies have put the workload for retirement back onto individual employees. The days of very lucrative pensions are over. I think now for the New York City Police Department, they're down to, what is it, like a tier 9 pension or tier 12 maybe. Wow, check this out. So the big tower that's in the clouds, literally, is Central Park Tower, literally in the clouds. Crazy. Hey, David M says, Tom, I just looked over some semiconductor stocks. Got any picks for 2022 on that? So David, I'm not sure if you received the newsletter, but if you want to sign up for free and receive the Behind the Street newsletter, I just sent it out to everybody. And one of the industry themes for 2022 is that I think we're going to continue to see outperformance in semiconductors. So I was talking about Broadcom specifically, as well as NVIDIA. Hey, MD says there's the Ritz-Carlton as well. Little Flower Girl says, my son lives in Ohio. Very cool. And if you look down this road, you could see right to Times Square. EBITDA is really how much more do you think NVIDIA has to run? So I think semiconductors are going to be in a super cycle for the next 5 years. Just because if you look at all the specific catalysts, right, just think about the demand that electric vehicles are going to add to semiconductors. If you look at the data, in one single electric vehicle, there's about 2,000 chips in one electric vehicle, as opposed to about 900 in non-EVs. And Joe Biden came out with an announcement that he wants to have a goal by 2030. He wants half of all vehicles produced to be electric vehicles. And that's just one specific use case for chips, right? Pretty much anything that we think about has semiconductors in there. So if you think about a smartphone, tablets, a lot of medical equipment, a lot of smart things for like smart appliances. So pretty much every single new emerging technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, is going to require chips. So pretty much, I think semiconductors will be the new oil of the 21st century, as well as data. Yeah, Ken says, well, can these semiconductors companies handle the demand? Well, I think that's why we're seeing major investments. So in especially the chip fabs, the chip fabricators, building new plants all across the United States. Yeah, Chris Mills says, and the raw materials to build them. I think you make a good point, Chris. Yeah, EBITDA, you're right, in terms of the mode. Well, I think one of the biggest plays with NVIDIA is actually their software platform. I believe it's called CUDA, the NVIDIA software platform that is in extremely high demand. EBITDA, I did a small little write-up on NVIDIA today. I'm not sure if you got the email, but I just sent out everybody the email for the Behind the Street newsletter where I covered specifically Broadcom and NVIDIA. Dino says, we just passed your old building, Tom. So we passed it a while ago. It was on the corner of 6th Avenue. I used to be right on the corner of 6th. So we haven't been here in a while on the stream. We are right here at Columbus Circle. EBITDA says, to piggyback on Chris's comment, I think that specific commodities will have a great year. I am using somewhat of a managed futures hedge in my portfolio this year. I think I'll have to agree with you, EBITDA. I think I have to agree with you. It was funny. So we earlier, I think it was like mid last year, we had a massive run in lumber futures. And then lumber came down about 50%. But now lumber is actually back and retraced 100% of its gains. And it's back at new all-time record highs. EBITDA says, Tom, how do I sign up for the newsletter? If you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, !news, you can click the link. The Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter. And I think we are on the 9th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, and you're more than welcome to read all the archived newsletters on the website for free. Roy S. The semiconductor shortage is also connected to various conflicts in the world. Yeah, so Roy, I think you make a good point. I think that what the vast majority of cobalt actually comes out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But a lot of the manufacturing in the semiconductor space comes out of Taiwan Semiconductor. Yeah, so if you guys read the Nightbot, it says sign up here, free behind the street newsletter. If you click that link, it'll just have you type in your email address and you can receive the newsletter for free. I already sent out the newsletter for this week, but I believe if you look around, you'll be able to read all of them for free. Pineapple Water says if China winks too hard at Taiwan, then chimps will soar even because they want Taiwan semis really badly. Yeah, so I'm not under the impression that China will ever invade Taiwan. I think if you understand the supply chain about how semiconductors are actually manufactured and made, it's pretty much impossible for China to invade Taiwan, or it would just crash their economy. YUSAHARA says, I hope you and your family had a nice Christmas. I hope the same for you. Hope you had a good Christmas too. Good to see you. For the love of God, says Tom, I left Long Island in early 90s after it went left. Kev Bear is here. Says hello. What's up, Kev Bear? So we are here at the Deutsche Bank Center, formerly the Time Warner Centers. Moon says the mic keeps fading in and out. I have to get a mic. Well, I have one, but I just need an adapter. Let's see if we can go in here without buffering. Hey, EBITDA, thank you for joining. We will see you in the next one. Royce is amazing. It's still open at this hour. I am from Taiwan. The technology of semiconductor in Taiwan is very difficult to be copied in China. Don't worry. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it very, very much. Elon Musk, I'm not sure about that. Hey, I see 48 here. Says, how are you this evening, Tom? Good to see you, 48. So if anybody wants to come here, this is 59th Street, Columbus Circle. We will head out and make our way downtown. Yes, so I will be in New York for New Year's. Indeed, I will be. So this is a very nice view of Billionaires Row. We're looking at 220 Central Park South, as well as the Central Park Tower. Hey, Simply Janiques has just visited New York City for the first time 2 weeks ago. Beautiful city. Awesome. I'm glad you had a great time. And hopefully you can come back very soon. And if you look at the billboard, that is Gemini Exchange, which is a cryptocurrency exchange owned and operated by the Winklevoss twins. Very famous for their debacle with Mr. Zuckerberg and Facebook. Hey, Cynthia says I'm here now for New Year's and it's beautiful. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a scaled back New Year's, maybe 15,000 people at max, last that I heard. Alan Pickett's is MPWR, Tom, opinion on monolithic power systems out of Kirkland, Washington. So I think they actually just came off of a good quarter, solid company. I think they're growing their earnings at least 25% compounded annualized growth rate, I believe. Coffee Travel Foods says, I'm trying to live in New York City eventually. It's my favorite place ever. Just got to get some goals accomplished before then. You can definitely do it. Somebody says, do you know Trump Tower? Yeah, so this is the Trump International Hotel right here at Columbus Circle. This is the main Trump Hotel. Hey, Mario's here. Says hello from Portugal. Good to see you, Mario. Marilyn Ringel says, yeah, I know. It's crazy. So we're over 7,000 subscribers, I think, now on the channel. So I appreciate it, everybody. It's been a very fun ride talking finance with all of you. So this is looking down 8th Avenue. Hey, Two Wheel Pines is here. Good afternoon, Two Wheel Pines. Good to see you. David M, thank you so much for the super chat. David M. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day. Elon Musk says the Hamptons is the most expensive part of New York. Question mark. I believe it is. I think real estate in the Hamptons went up over 37% this year, which is pretty crazy. Benny B, I am from New York. Good to see you, Benny B. Hey, Matthew P is here. Says howdy, Tom, old chap. Good to see you. So we will walk down Broadway. We haven't been down Broadway in a while on the stream. Hey, Cynthia says, do you think it will snow before the new year? So it was actually snowing earlier today, Cynthia. It was snowing a little bit maybe around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Two Wheel Pines, as if you've been missing Miami at all. A little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Definitely the weather is a lot better. Devon Avery says, I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn. Good to see you. Samzy For Good says, I am from Nigeria. I love your program, thank you. Hope everything is going well in Nigeria. Welcome to all of our Nigerian viewers. So this is the backside of the very famous 220 Central Park South. And Ken Griffin, CEO at Citadel, actually just bought the top penthouse. Santos says, thank you for the content. What is your favorite Broadway play? So I'm not sure. I don't usually go to Broadway shows, surprisingly, but I think I've only ever been to one show ever. Although I did have to buy a client some tickets to the musical Hamilton, in which case I almost got fired because I was so oblivious to how much the actual cost of the tickets were. So I put them on the company's credit card, and when I went to check out, I was like, oh my God. I did not anticipate spending thousands of dollars to take this client to Hamilton. So now we are looking down Billionaires Row, and you can see 432 Park Avenue in the clouds. Actually, the tallest penthouse in this building is in the clouds, and you can also see the one and only Carnegie Hall. Hey, what's up, By the Book? Good to see you. Western Mass says, Tom, did you see the Rockettes? So I did see them, I believe, about 3 years ago. I was going to go this year, but I believe the Rockettes Christmas Spectacular show is actually canceled for the rest of the year. Andrew says 157. So we're going to be able to see 157 as we get to the corner here on 7th Avenue. And I believe Bill Ackman bought one of the most expensive apartments in 157. And as everybody knows, Bill Ackman is the owner, the hedge fund manager at Pershing Square. Hey, Troy. And this is the very famous Brooklyn Diner. And this building is Carnegie Hall, and I think it's going under extreme restoration right here, 7th Avenue. Hey, James is here. So what's up, Sam? What's up, James? Good to see you, as always. Good to see you, IK. Good to see you, Roy S. So here is on Billionaires Row, the very famous 157, home to Bill Ackman. Samira says hello from Brazil. Good to see you, Samira. We are headed southbound on 7th Avenue. I'll give you guys one more look at 157, and the very, very slender building right to your right is the brand new Steinway building, which is one of the newest additions to Billionaires Row. David M says, I'm just saying, for so much money, the streets could look a lot better, sort of like Miami. Yeah, New York is definitely a lot, I would say the streets are a lot more dirty than Miami, I would say. In my view, anyway. But we're getting a new mayor. So Eric Adams will be the new mayor in New York City. Hey, T&Me TV says, hi Tom, watching from the beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Good to see you, T&Me TV. Hope you're well. Alex says, do you think New York City and Miami are good cities for young professionals to grow compared to others in the United States? Yeah, I would say they're definitely in the top 10 for sure. I would say New York City, Denver, Colorado, Dallas, Texas, Miami, Florida. Maybe Boston I would include there too. Hey, I see Charlie Richardson is here. What's up, Charlie? Good to see you, as always. Charlie, we were talking about the semiconductor boom continuing into 2022 as tonight's topic. So we were talking about NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD, Taiwan Semiconductor. But if you look straight ahead, the building with the blue top is Barclays, which is a major investment bank. And the building right next to it is BNP Paribas, which is the French investment bank. Actually, a couple of years ago, I had to evacuate my office building because a helicopter landed on top of the BNP Paribas. Pretty crazy. Hey, Leonardo's here, says hello. Say hi to Leonardo. Bentes from Brazil. I love New York. How are you? Jonathan Richards is here, says I love Carnegie Hall. I love it too. Hey, Bernie Williams is here, says hello, Tom. Nice to see you out and about. Good to see you as always, Bernie. So everybody, not for nothing, standing here. So last year for New Year's, I was actually standing right here. And this is actually one of the greatest views for the ball drop, because you don't have to stand into, crowds of millions or thousands of people. You could actually just stand right here and you can actually see the ball drop in Times Square. Telechine Juan says, was in the Wellington Hotel 6 years ago. How'd you like that hotel? Was it good? Hey, Joyce Carter's here. Sierra C says, what job would you have wanted if you didn't have the one that you have now? Maybe sales and trading at an investment bank. So if I didn't work in tech, I'd probably work at one of the investment banks or something like that. Juan Carlos says, where do the billionaires in Billionaires Row do their local shopping? So it's funny, I was actually just watching a documentary on that. The vast majority of people who own these condominiums or apartments on Billionaires Row, they don't even live there, right? So a lot of those buildings are completely empty for the vast majority of the year. And I think I was reading something where the person who owns the most expensive apartment at the top of 432 Park Avenue has actually never been to the apartment yet. He's actually never been there. So they use it as a way to store their wealth and as a tax haven, because a lot of the times the taxes are deferred for 10 or 15 years into the future on a lot of these properties. So they're pretty much just like piggy banks in the sky. Hey, Sam Alexander says howdy from Texas. What's up, Sam? Hope you're having a good day. Robert says billionaires can't live in a condo. They need a large estate. Well, they probably have so many places. Yeah, Marilyn Ringo, that is true. Sam says we are. Thank you for sharing your walk. No problem, Sam. Thank you for being here. Yeah, photos from around New York says the property taxes on those places, though. Well, here's the thing. I think the taxes are deferred for like the first 10 years on a lot of those places in Billionaires Row, which is kind of crazy, but it's true. Hey, we got Cool Aunt 516 here. Says, I would like to house sit for them for a while. So everybody, this is the French investment bank, BNP Paribas. And you could actually see some of the Bloomberg terminals here. E Jr. says hello. Good to see you. Sierra C says piggy bank in the sky, indeed. Juan is here. What's up, Juan? So right here is where, well, on the roof is where the helicopter unfortunately crash landed a couple of years ago. I think it was like 3 years ago now. Rory Means says hello from Nashville, Tennessee. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. E Jr. says hello from Eastern Shore, Maryland. So I believe this is a very famous Michelin star restaurant right here. Right in that building, very famous. Hey, I see Ibrahim is on. What's up, Ibrahim? So speaking of investment banks, I believe this is the sales and trading headquarters of Mizuho. And Mizuho is a Japanese investment bank. And you could actually see the sales and trading desk here, right above the Capitol Grill. You can see all the Bloomberg terminals and everything. DN says hello from Brooklyn. What's up, DN? Good to see you. Sierra C says, are you planning on being in New York City for New Year's? I do. I will be here for the holidays. Hey, XRP is here. What's up, XRP? Long time no see. Good to see you. Dan McLaren says, I don't think they are deferred, but instead the state charges them as if their apartment were cheaper. Yeah, so I was watching an interesting documentary that said they may be deferred. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll drop the link for the documentary very soon. Hey, Sam Alexander, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate the support. And I hope you had a very good holiday. So right across the street is the big asset manager, Neuberger Berman. My friend actually just got a job here. Just started last week. He is now a risk manager at Neuberger Berman. Beautiful building. Located right here on 6th Avenue. Right outside Radio City Music Hall in Manhattan. On West 51st Street and 6th Avenue. So the stream may start to buffer a little bit. Ibrahim Azam says, Tom, do you plan on going to Central Park? So I was there a little bit today. I was actually at the Dakota Apartments. And this is Radio City Music Hall, where they actually, I believe they just had to stop the Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes. I believe it is totally closed down now for the year, unfortunately, due to the Omicron variant. Dan, that makes a lot more sense. So they're deferred on the building owner, but not on the actual individual tenant. So I was reading into some of the stories about the developers that built 432 Park Avenue. And what they did to get a big tax break is they built, I think it was 260 units of affordable housing in the Bronx in order to qualify for the tax incentive on the building. Hey, Quants is here. What's up, Quants? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Yeah, Cool on 516 is, yeah, it was shut down. So this is Radio City Music Hall, 50th Street and 6th Avenue. And this is the best halal food in New York City right here. It's called Adele's Famous. So if you ever come to New York, you gotta come to this place. This place is by far the best halal food in the city. Hey, Dean is here from Dublin. What's up, Dean? Good to see you. I think they take these down the first day after New Year's. Santos is better than Halal Guys. It's probably 100 times better than Halal Guys. Hey, Bernie Williams was going to ask about that Omicron. How is that changing things where you are? In the UK, nothing is happening. Had booster and never been ill. Yeah, so here in the United States, I think a lot of people are getting the virus. And Apple actually just announced that they're closing all of the Apple stores in New York City because I believe a lot of their employees are actually getting sick. So I'm not sure how long that policy is going to stay in place, but they are now closed. You can only order online or pick up. Yeah, back, that is true. Sabrina Fair says, Tom, I accept the Halal Guy challenge to your competitor. Oh, it's probably 100,000 times better than Halal Guys. Hey, Scott Wilder is getting close to Fox News. Should get them to come out and say hello. Yeah, so this is the News Corporation building on West 48th Street. And somebody actually burned down this Christmas tree a couple weeks ago. But then they rebuilt it. So News Corporation now owns Investors Business Daily, Barron's, and the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, Cosmo's scary. Funny. Hey, Lupe says, I am coming to New York City next week. Don't be worried. I think you'll be all right. Hey, Deborah Hughes says, was in the city in July 2021. Can't wait to be back. Well, we can't wait to have you back. I think you're going to have a great time. So this is 1211 Avenue of the Americas, the Wall Street Journal Investors Business Daily headquarters, as well as Fox News. Lupe, I will. IK says the tree harasser was all over the news. Indeed. Alan Pickett says buy AVGO or Broadcom. Hey, Elon Musk says, Tom, what investment books do you recommend? So I think to start out, I think Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher is a great book. I think that's one of the greatest investment books of all time. As well as Margin of Safety by Seth Klarman and One Up on Wall Street by the famous Peter Lynch, who used to run the Fidelity Magellan Fund back in the 80s. Jibbin says they got dumb and smart people in terms of news coverage. That's hilarious. And here we are at my old office, the Marsh & McLennan building, right here on the corner of 46th Street. I used to work here for many years. For the love of God, says Tom, is Neil Cavuto worth watching? I don't know. Hey, Nice Guy is here. Says, good evening, everyone. Markets are up good. Yes, so we had a brand new all-time record highs today for the S&P. XRP says cover the Ethereum free pass. You want news? Question mark. So pretty soon, in a couple blocks, we're going to be able to see the very top of the Empire State Building lit up for the holidays. I see Two Wheel Pines here. Good to see you, Two Wheel Pines. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, I see Mac 914 says, hi Tom, long time no see. How's your holidays going? My holidays are going really well. Good to see you, Mac. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. I wish you a very happy new year. It's good to see you in the chat. Joseph says, always love flying into JFK at night. The lights in the city look like Christmas. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do as well. Anytime you get to fly into JFK, you always get a free sightseeing of the city. So this is the top of the One Vanderbilt building. As we're here on West 44th Street. Hey, Scott Wilder says, will the Santa Claus rally be net positive by the end of the week? So I think we only have, 4 trading days left in the year. So I think that we are going to have new all-time record highs pretty much across the board in all the major indices, in my view. Hey, Herbert Daughtry says, have you ever been in the Paris Theater? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever been there. Ibrahim Azam says, my favorite building, One Vanderbilt. Yeah, Matthew says One Vanderbilt has the best observation deck. I agree, even though I've never been there, but I did see some stuff on YouTube with the One Vanderbilt observation deck that looks great. But now you guys are about to see my favorite view of all time, right here outside of the Bank of America Tower, overlooking the beautiful Empire State Building that is now lit up for the holidays. So here you have the brand new One Vanderbilt. Hey, Roxanne Robles is here. Says, hey kid, good to see you, Roxanne. So we are now outside of the Bank of America Tower on West 43rd Street. Hey, Tony's here. What's up, Tony from Australia? Good to see you. Roxana Robles, always a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, Western Mass says the Empire State Building, the most beautiful. And now we are right outside of the Salesforce Tower. Salesforce is a big software company that specializes in customer relationship management software. Hey, Roxanne Robles, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you very, very much. Hope you're having a very happy holidays. Hey, Ann Cannon says hi from Manchester, United Kingdom. Welcome everybody from the UK. So now we are walking past Bryant Park. Hey, Al J says hi, Tom, everybody. Good to see you, Al J. We are right outside of the Bryant Park Winter Village, and I'll give you all one last look of the One Vanderbilt Tower. Hey, Aaron Prill says hello from Michigan. What is going on, everybody from Michigan? the Salesforce Tower. Al J, good to see you. I hope you're having a great holiday, and I wish you a very happy new year. Always good to see you, Al J. XRP says, I'm taking the little ones to 1 Vanderbilt. I think they're gonna have a good time. You know what, that's actually pretty hilarious. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here. Vu says, don't know why I'm watching Midtown live streams while sitting in a living room in Midtown. That is quite hilarious. That's funny. Hey, Ben Alfords has just finished reading this week's newsletter. Thank you. No problem, Ben. I appreciate you reading the newsletter. So this week we covered 3 main topics in the newsletter. We covered the bull thesis, or the continuing bull thesis for 2022 for semiconductor demand. So global chipsets that go into anything from electric vehicles, appliances. I think there's going to be a big push for smart cities. So IoT, anything machine learning, artificial intelligence. And we did a brief earnings coverage of Broadcom and NVIDIA. Leonardo says, show a store that is open every night. A lot of things close right around this time, 10 o'clock. But this is the Bank of China. And this is a very good coffee shop, La Colombe. Very good coffee spot. Yeah, for the metaverse as well. Yeah, so we've been hearing that a lot. People are like, would they consider building semiconductors in the United States as opposed to overseas? But I think we need to understand the logistics of what goes into making these chips, because a lot of companies actually are not in the business of manufacturing chips, right? A lot of them are designers, so they focus on the design of these chipsets. So I think that a lot of these I think that the semiconductor supply chain is decentralized for a reason. So you have your chip fabricators, you have the designers, then you have the manufacturers, and I think it's decentralized for a reason. XRP, to say hello to the new banking system, Ripple. Could we get a quick time check in the chat? I just want to make sure we are not running over time here as we walk back to the Moynihan train station. Ah, 10:43. 10:43 p.m. right on time. Hey, Kobo Bunny is here. It's this rainy day in New York. It's really hot where I am. Yeah, so today's weather has been pretty crazy in New York City. It's been pretty nuts. First it was snowing, then it's raining. Ah, Scott Wilder. This is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is producing the screen I see on my computer. Do I think that the retail business will ever rebound to where it was post-COVID? I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever get back to where it was. But I think by and large, the city of New York is pretty much all the way reopened, just with some limited restrictions. But I think you're going to see a lot of that change now that we have a new mayor in New York City that is coming in the next couple weeks. Mayor Eric Adams. Hey, Boston Bruins fanboy. This is which semiconductor company in the semiconductor industry would you guys say will profit most from the new chip boom? I think they'll all benefit in their own way. But in terms of technology and software capability, I would say NVIDIA. So I would do some research into the NVIDIA's CUDA platform. AMD also. I just think that the demand is going to be there. The demand should continue to be there for the next 5 years, at least, especially when we had President Joe Biden come out and say that by 2030, he wants to set a goal that at least half of all the vehicles manufactured have to be electric vehicles. Boston Bruins fanboy, good to see you. As always, hope you're having a great night. NJB, hope you're well. Bernie Williams says custom chipsets, are they not going to take over? Well, one of the things that I thought was interesting is Apple is actually taking a lot of that stuff in-house. I think in a lot of the new Apple products, especially their iMac that they just came out with, I believe the M1 chip is totally proprietary. So now we are coming up to the one and only Macy's. And I think we have to pick up the pace a little bit so we don't miss the train. I think the train comes in 15 minutes. John L says NVIDIA always has the biggest pop-up on the market. Days lots of street interest. Very good point, John L. Very good point. And here's another great view of the one and only Empire State Building. Yeah, Jim says Intel is going to invest a lot of money into new chip plants. Wild C. Ross is crazy. We've been on the internet for over 20 years now. Yeah, Elon Musk says lithium is in high demand today. Santo Flores, what are your thoughts on Intel? I'm not a big fan of Intel for various reasons, but I think that will be a topic for another stream. But I'm not that big of a fan of Intel. Hey, Western Mass Daves is going to sign off. Have a great night, Tom. Thank you, Western Mass Dave. We will see you in the next one. Watch and Learn says like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Feeding the Homeless in New York City. Definitely. Jared Kobe says I thought AMR or ARM architecture was open source. So I think ARM is owned by SoftBank. I think ARM is a SoftBank company, aren't they? I think that was a part of Masason's Vision Fund, I believe. Hey, War Walker, thank you so much. War Walker says, Tom, thanks very much for doing what you do every night. You show us beautiful New York City. You show us what makes New York City the Big Apple. May God bless you and keep you healthy, happy, and safe. War Walker, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, Bernie Williams' arm is UK based. But War Walker is joining us from the one and only Miami. As usual. All right, I think we may be out of the dead zone. Yeah, I think whenever we walk past Macy's, the signal strength is not very good. Dino's line of heavy showers coming your way, Tom. Well, we just made it to our destination, thankfully. I'll give you guys one more shot at the Empire State Building before we sign off. Yeah, cool on 516. So Intel is building a chip factory in Arizona. So we will be on the lookout for that. Jonathan Richards, have a good night. Al J, thank you so much for joining, everybody. We are now here at Penn Station, so I appreciate everybody who joined the stream. If you enjoyed tonight's stream, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you want. And we will see you all right back here tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will subside into tomorrow. So everybody have a good night. I will see you in the next one. Scott Wilder, Cool on 516, 48, and everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Hopefully you have a great Tuesday tomorrow. And to the mighty bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look, and I will see you all in the next one tomorrow. Have a great night.